I'm live. Apparently I'm live. So, hello. Let's see. Okay, there's none watching just now. Hello, hello, hello. I am so sorry, guys. I hope it's not on the loop anymore. Are we good? Is it right? That's everything's working, I think. Let me get into my iPad as well, so I can actually monitor. Oh, I just want paint, and I'm sure you just want paint. This is, oh, this has to be the last of the hiccups. Right, there. This has to be the last of the technical hiccups. I thought I'd ironed all this out, but clearly I've not. Right, so we've got 10 watching now. Fantastic. Right, let me just catch it. And can everybody hear me okay, that it's not on a loop? No, Kylie. It all went Pete Tong. It went belly up. It was, I'd forgotten to take off my speakers, and so it was on a loop and everybody just kept hearing the same things over and over again. Right, so who have we got? We've got, hello Rick, hello Kylie, Chrissy, Laura, Madonna, Linda, Nikki, Joe, Michael Ann. Hello Michael Ann, sounds good, fantastic, excellent. Mona's here, woohoo, the birthday girl. Right, everybody together, let's sing. Happy birthday to you. I'm not going to get a copy strike for this, am I? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mona. Happy birthday to you. Mwah. Right, not on a loop. Oh yay! So we're good to go. Right, we're good to go. Hello Skirter, welcome. I'm so glad that you were able to find me. Fantastic. So everything seems to be working okay. Right. Is everybody ready to get painting? No, the song is in the public domain. Good. You just never know these days. You really don't. Right. I have a load of brushes. These are all my long-handled Art Sherpa brushes. I have my two cat tongues even, and my two bright. Now the two bright is a 4 and a 2. The cat tongues are 4 and an 8. So if you're painting along, any brush, whatever brush that you want to pick up. Oh, see. Now that's just going to annoy me now. The camera's just switched off. I'll be with you in just a second. I thought I'd sussed it. Right, so I have to remove the window capture and then re-add it again, because every time it switches off, it loses its connection to the window, and the window capture no longer. Oh, okay. Battery, that might Oh. I do have another battery. I made sure that I had another battery. I'm really so sorry, guys. At this rate, I'm going to end up just doing a single camera angle. Right, let's try again. And it's on. Fantastic. Live view. There we go. And we'll add back into oh no, that's not it. Remove that. Yes, it's the wrong window. We will get started. As soon as I get this up, we are starting painting. So everybody be ready. I have here, well, you can have a look at the colours that I've got that I was thinking of using while I get this re-added. There we go. That's us. And get it big. Get it into frame. There we go. There, that's it. That'll do it. Okay, so there. Right, I only got 3 brushes, 1 palette knife and 1 gift card. That's absolutely perfect, Mona. Absolutely perfect. I only brought these on because these were the ones that I was looking at. You use whatever you need to, because all you really need are 3 things. You need a dark colour, a mid-tone colour and a light colour. So, Mona's got her Simply Simmons brushes. They are rather long. That's fantastic. Right, let's get started before something else goes wrong. It's obviously going to be one of those days. Now, I'm thinking I'll probably just use this one with these two. So I've got turquoise, magenta, and I'm going to use the sort of brown colour. Let me tell you what, it's sienna. So I'm going to use the sienna. This was the Naples yellow red, but I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use these 3. I'm going to keep it simple for you. Whoops. Keep it simple, and I will use these 3 with mixing white and maybe using some of the titanium white as well. So let's keep it simple. Right, making sure that that's in frame. So I've got a brown. I'm going to put out mixing white, and I'm going to put out my phthalo turquoise. Now, the reason I've got this instead of a reference is I decided that the reference might encourage us to try and get the reference right. So it might encourage us to try and be more perfect than we really should be. So essentially, that's not what we want to do. Today's lesson is not necessarily about techniques, although you will learn some of my techniques. Today's lesson is about learning how to be okay with imperfect. So for Mona, who is a self-declared sock folder, This is about being okay with chucking those socks in a heap in your drawer. That is the simple. No, you don't have to have mixing white, Mona. There is no there's no compulsion to use anything other than what you've got. You need a light colour. When I put the paint on the paper, I will explain whether it's a dark shade, a light shade, or the mid-tone. And that's all you need to be worrying about. Don't worry about whether it's titanium white or whether it's mixing white. It makes not a jot of difference, okay? I promise. Ian, that's not possible on the camera. I would love to switch it off, but it won't switch it off. You either have the face recognition or you have a square in the middle of it. That's just not possible. So it will need to stay there. It's as simple as that. It won't switch off. I have tried, believe you me. I have been trying to get that switched off for quite some time and it won't. Because if I switch the face recognition off, it brings up a box for the autofocus. And it's just not, unless I switch. Now that's the autofocus. See, that I've looked in the menu and there's only 3 things. You either have it with the squares or without the squares. So yeah, you'll have to put up with the box until I figure out how to actually do it, if it's even at all possible. I have heard that with DSLRs it can be an absolute nightmare to get nothing on your screen, so we'll just have to put up with it for today. Question. I'm a newbie to acrylics. What basic set of paints do you recommend a beginner level? Gracie, that's a very good question. I'm going to answer it very, very briefly because this isn't what this video stream is about. And essentially, it's what your budget will allow. There is, it's that kind of balance between what your budget will allow and what you're actually wanting to do with acrylics. I did a demonstration the other day where I simply used these. They're craft paints, they're craft acrylics. If you're looking for a specific make, one make that I know and trust for student paints are the System 3 Daler Rowney. Now this particular one is heavy bodied, but you also get the soft bodied, which simply means whether it holds a kind of mound like this or whether it's a little bit runnier. That's all that means. So hopefully that's answered it as quickly as I can. Let's get started painting because I've wasted a lot of time anyway. Are you guys ready? As I said before, this is where you're going to be holding your brush, okay, to the back. You're not going to be holding it up here. We are not getting detail. We are holding it as far back as we can, and we're going to step back as far back from our paper as we can. We are not we're not painting a face, we're just simply painting, okay? We are not going to take the stance that we're painting a face because we are learning to be okay with our feelings. Today's lesson is about being okay with our feelings. So let's get the first paint strokes on the paper. Right, so do you know, everybody keeps saying that I've got face recognition on, but believe you me, I've looked and looked and looked to try and get it off. You either have face recognition or you have a square. It's as simple as that. My DSLR is a entry-level DSLR, and I have yet to find how to actually switch the flaming thing off. So my apologies if it's distracting. I'd rather it was focused here, because we're not really going to be paying attention. You're going to be paying attention here. So, right. We're going to take our mid-tone. Okay, so this is a little bit darker than what I would want it to be, a mid-tone, so I'm adding some white. Now that can either be mixing white or it can be titanium white, whichever you've got. It could even be that you have got a lighter colour than me, and that's also fine. So we're going to take our mid-tone and we are simply going to paint on a circle. Doesn't have to be accurate, but that's our circle. You can take off all the paint from your brush if you want. But this is our circle. That's what we're starting with. Now you can decide whether or not that's in the right place. If you feel, as I've kind of thought, well, maybe I'd quite like it to be over a little bit, I can just simply move it over a little bit. So there we go. That is now over. So there's the circle. There's a little bit of space there, a little bit of space there. It's nothing. Everybody can draw, everybody can paint a circle, right? Just paint that circle. And by the way, just to let you be aware, if it sounds like I'm shouting, my apologies. I'm making sure that people can actually hear me. Maybe what I can do, no, I think I'll just leave it at that. I'm sure it's, if I'm shouting, let me know, and I will tone it down a little bit. YouTube keeps signing you off when I try to chat. It's terrible weather here, so probably affecting my internet. Oh, that's a bit sucky. So we've got our circle. Yeah. Now that can be as large or as little as you like. Then we're going to think about, well, actually, you know, this is probably where the nose is going to end. And I'll explain to you why soon, because this isn't our face. Remember I said we're not painting a face. But in terms of what we're doing just now, just darken this area here, because later on it will all become clear. I promise. Then we're going to think about, well, okay, so we've got our circle in. We've got that little bit of darkness there. So that kind of shows us where the bottom of that circle is. And now we're going to get some more of the mid-tone again. And we're going to add this part here. So it's kind of like it's a U, a V with a flat bottom, however you want it to be. So there we go, just putting shapes in. So a bit like a basket. We can call it a basket. And then we're going to get, again, more of the mid-tone. So whatever colour you've chosen as being your mid-tone, get the mid-tone. And then around about here, we've got dark areas. We're not caring. We're just... Now, can you see a face coming out yet? Because I know I can. It's abstraction. We've got our darker eye sockets here. We've got the bottom of our nose there, and there's the chin. I'm just checking the comments. Right, so that's that. Then maybe what we might want to do is we might want to lighten our mid-tone, and we might want to add in a little bit, like so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some wet paint, and then I'm going to get something and I'm going to scrape it like so. So I'm just spreading it about the page. I might dab some on up here. I've used the white. You can use whichever you want. And we're just going to simply, we're messing it up because we don't care. So Chrissy's keeping an eye out. Thank you. Doesn't matter, Mona. Doesn't matter. It really, honestly, doesn't matter. Because we're just adding paint. It's not anything particularly exciting. It's not. I'm going to experiment, and I'm going to mix a little bit of this brown with my phthalo turquoise and see what happens. And look, I've got a green. So I'm going to pop that green on round the edge, like so. I really like adding colours and things, and just not caring. So I'm going to add some blobs of colour just all round, and I'm going to get and I'm going to obliterate it. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to add a colour onto your page and obliterate it. This is about getting past the fear of getting it wrong. So let's make it look wrong. Let's lose our face. We were starting to see a face. Let's lose it. So Gracie's saying that she can paint botanical, birds and animals, but people is where I get stuck with drawing. Today, Gracie, we are doing a lesson in not caring when things go wrong. So it's about, I'm just messing at the minute, I'm just taking colour off my brush. We're learning how to be okay, because this kind of thing gives people anxieties, and I'm here to show you that those anxieties, that's all they are. They're just feelings. Feelings cannot hurt us, and as far as I'm aware, the fact that I've just made a mess of my face that was starting to show, it doesn't, you know, the world isn't ending because of it, and you know, things aren't going wrong in my life because I've messed up a painting. And so that's the lesson today. So Mona, I hope, pointing the the brush, you wanted me to point the brush, Mona, I hope that you are messing up your face. And who else was, Michael Ann, she was following along as well. I hope you've added your colour and that you're actually messing your face up now. I really do hope that you are in the spirit of it, shall we say. So now I'm going to take some of the green and a little bit of the mixing white, and we're going to experiment a little bit with that. If you've got titanium white in a different colour, lighten it and see what happens. This is where this is this part here. So just see what happens. Take as much of the colour off the brush as you can. Just see what happens. I'm going to just add mixing white directly, and I'm going to cover that dark and see what happens. It's not really doing an awful lot, but how am I feeling? Feeling, well, okay, let's think about it. How are you feeling? Tap into those emotions. What's actually going on? Why, you know, are you feeling uncomfortable? On a scale of 1 to 10, how uncomfortable are you feeling right now? Can you mess it up anymore? Can you look at, well, here's some green. Can I add some green in? Shall I pop a green forehead? Or maybe I want to distract myself a little bit from my fear. Maybe putting some colour on the edges. Linda's saying she's not comfortable at all. Now, remember guys, that if you feel too uncomfortable and you really genuinely do not want to do this, nobody's forcing you. I am not here demanding that you do this. I'm hoping that by me doing it, I've just picked up some colour onto my brush and I'm just adding it onto the paper. I am here to show you that I can do these kinds of paintings too. Admittedly, I'm not feeling as uncomfortable as you perhaps, but I am feeling uncomfortable because this is a live show. I've already messed up technically in that, you know, I had to start a new stream and the last one kind of went wrong and da. So, you know, my anxieties are kind of up here somewhere, you know. They are just as uncomfortable as you might be feeling right now. So I'm really just about helping you to recognize that when we do these types of things, let's acknowledge our feelings. Our feelings are there. We can't stop our feelings. If you're feeling particularly uncomfortable, really, really uncomfortable, then okay. If you've got titanium white, this is a really good way to kind of help. So I'm going to put some titanium white out. The reason I put out the, oops, I'm getting it all over me now. The reason I put out the mixing white in the first instance is because I was really wanting to not have the ability to cover things up as well as I could, because I wanted to show you guys just how uncomfortable it can be and how messed up I can get it, and then let's look at, okay, so what can we do to rectify this? How can we make ourselves feel a bit more comfortable? Right, well, first of all, the titanium white. Look at that. Would you look at that? Wow, how amazing is that? Do you not feel better already, thinking, well, actually, I can cover that up? Does that not help? So let's kind of re-establish some of the shape that we had already. Now it's going to be darker down here, and there's a contrast, so I've used a contrasting colour. Nothing at all. I'm just making a mess, but that's the idea. We're making a mess to be able to actually recognise that our feelings and how we actually are feeling about it so let's re-establish that nose. So there's the, okay, I've actually realised that my nose is too high up. There's the nose. That's actually where the nose should be. So while that's wet, let's just obliterate that. There we go. So there's the dark colour again. There we go. So it's starting to come back in. So let's think about, now this is green, but let's get that darkness back in here. Because if you think about a nose, it's thinner at the top, and then it goes out in that sort of direction, doesn't it? So we actually have a triangle. And I'm afraid I'm going to have to there we go. This is going to irritate the living daylights out of me, I can see. I'm going to have to get another camera. This whole switching off malarkey is just very irritating. Okay, nearly there. Oh, sorry, almost there. There we go. There we go. So, how are we feeling? How are we feeling? I think I'm using too much paint. Mine looks all muddy. Mine looks quite muddy too. Mine's is actually looking quite dark and ominous, actually. But that's okay. I'm now going to switch directions, and I'm going to add in another colour. So I've got my magenta here, and I'm going to, now what I did with this one is actually, I used this. I used a roller, but I'm not going to today because it wasn't one of the things that I mentioned to have, so I'm not going to use it today. So I'm going to take my palette knife. I have this one, but I also have this one as well. In fact, I think I'll maybe use the longer one. And I'm going to just load up my palette knife, and I'm going to add this pink. I quite like this pink. There we go. So I've just added more colour. And here's a really cool thing that you might not know. If you add the phthalo turquoise and the pink, look at the colour you get. Now you wouldn't have thought that adding a kind of greeny colour with a pinky colour would get a purple, would you? So when you want to re-establish outer edges and it's the darker area, you just simply darken up the underneath, the background, and that then allows you then to get in and sort the rest of the face. So again, I'm thinking about, well, okay, so how uncomfortable am I feeling? What do I want to do to rectify that? Do I want to just keep adding more colours and kind of see what happens? I particularly liked the hair around about the edge. So that was got with the turquoise. So do I want to add in? So this is probably the darker tone, but you could, if your face is, you know, depending on what colour you want to go, just pick whatever colour you want the hair to be. Doesn't have to be perfect. It really doesn't have to be perfect at all. Now, this is looking a mess. I'm not particularly fussed right now because I know that I have done this often enough that I will come out with some version of a face, and I'm not caring just what it actually looks like. What I might do is I might add some of the brown down here. Just to see what will happen. And then what I might do is, my face is starting to get really dark. So maybe I can start thinking, well, hang on, what if I was to see some of the light areas? So I might then start to think, well, okay, let's think about the light areas. So remember what I was saying about the titanium white? The titanium white is going to be more coverage. So maybe I'm thinking, well, okay, up here on the front of the forehead, it's probably lighter. Right above the eyebrows is usually lighter. So I might just lighten that area up. That's right above the eyebrows there. So there's usually a bit of a triangular part here. And this is where, you know, kind of at least having a good indication of what. So can you see the face starting to come back into play? Might just use the brown and get a brown colour going on to sort of do the edges, because the side of the nose will probably run onto the cheek like so. And this is going to be darker here, but I'm going to lighten it up for the time being, just so that I can see where I'm at. So you can see that things are starting to reappear again. Whoops. I do that. I sometimes just instinctively just add things to the page. So I'm just cleaning off my brush. So anybody seeing oh, no problem, Rick. Have a good walk. Is anybody seeing a face in their face yet? Anybody having panic attack yet? Anybody got any questions? How are you doing, Mona? I'm going to get some of my titanium white and I'm going to use some of that pink. And I'm going to lighten up this cheek area because this is usually kind of where you would get a lighter colour. The other area that you would get a lighter colour would probably be down here. Now it would probably be a bit darker up this end, but as you can see I've got the other pink underneath, so I'm getting that. The other areas that are going to be darker are here. Obviously the eye socket is going to be dark. Under the nose here is dark. And then we can kind of maybe think, okay, so what do we want to do about the lips? Well, because we've got that really dark pink in there, let's think about the lips. It's maybe a bit too much paint on the brush, but I've got my hand at the back here. I'm far away from and I'm just running the brush along, and then I'll maybe run the brush along the underside where there's going to be a shadow, and there's sometimes a bit of a shadow on the chin at the edge, so I'm just running that along there. So can you see the face starting to pop back out again? We've still got a bit of a mess. Well, Michael Ann, that is a very good question. That's a very good idea. If you want to take a photo just now, then take a photo. In fact, that's what we'll do. Grab your cameras if you've got one close by. If you haven't, then you'll just need to do it another time. But I've got my iPad right beside me, so I am going to take a photo, which I've done. So there we go. That's me taking a photo. If you want to take a photo, you go ahead and take a photo. Now I've stuck to using the big brush because I don't want details. I really, really don't want details. And the thing that you'll probably notice about this face compared to this face is much bigger. I've made this, this face has come out in the paper a lot smaller. But that doesn't make it any less of a painting than this. It's just that that's how it has all come about. I'm going to take some of the brown. Now I'm making more of a mid-tone colour rather than a dark colour, and I'm going to add it here, because under the cheek is probably a bit darker. And if you need to get rid of the colour off your brush completely by just going over the whole area, you can always come back and lighten this up again. So this is a good tip in terms of being able to get those good gradients. Just get all the colour off your brush and then go back in and lighten it again. That's what you want to do. There you go. Oh, I need to get your messages back up. Right, okay, so Mona, has it helped taking the photograph? That's a very good question, Chrissy. She says, I don't know. And that's fine. I guess my big question is, are you still afraid of feeling uncomfortable? Or are you starting to feel that actually it's not so bad feeling uncomfortable? You can leave the eyes, maybe look at having them shut, or you can lighten part of the area, like so. Then you can go back in and kind of get a bit more of an arch going on and darken the area again. Because there's usually that darker area here. So like here, you can see I've got it a bit darker. So there, she kind of looks a little bit like, or he, I'm assuming it's a she because she's got a bit fuller lips. But you know, the face is starting to look like she's got closed eyes. If you want them to look like they've got their eyes open, then just simply go in and add a dot of paint, and then you can put in what could be seen as the eyelid, like so. Now I'm actually wanting to expand her face just a little bit here, so that's what I'm going to do. You don't have to do it. That's what I'm choosing to do at the moment. And then that leaves me open to then decide, well, okay, so what do I want to do with the rest? It doesn't matter. What matters is, how do you feel about it being bad? Are you actually feeling that it's actually okay to have bad art? That's the big question, because that's the thing, is actually it is okay to have bad art. I'm just adding a little bit more at either side of the pupils, just just to lighten it up just that little bit more. I've got quite a light blue here going on, so maybe instead of having that pink, maybe I want to change that to a bit more of a blue. I mean, this is hardly a masterpiece. This is not something that I would, you know, enter into a competition. Hello Madonna, how are you today? Bridges is saying, I like that colour, it's very cool to see dimensions added using colour. Yes, that's a very good question, Chrissy. Has any of you learned anything today? Now I could go back in with the brown and change her lip if I wanted to. And I may put a little bit of a highlight there, and I may just add more just to see what will happen. And I may actually just go and give the overall feel to the face green rather than brown. Now this side part here, this is probably going to be a little bit darker as well. Be right back, washing brush, no problem. Ian's asking why, Tanya, I have seen painting like that win competitions because of the expression in them. Well, yeah, that's also very true as well, Ian. You've made a very, very good point. I guess the reason why I wouldn't consider this to be a piece that I would put into a competition is because today's piece was not necessarily about it's not really capturing what I would consider to be my artistic expression today. But yeah, you're right. I suppose now that I think about it, there's nothing to stop me from putting it into a competition. And it really boils down to, I guess, what we're feeling comfortable with, what we're not feeling comfortable with, and I probably wouldn't, ultimately it comes down to I wouldn't feel comfortable putting this piece into a competition. So simple as that. It's not because it's bad art, it's just because it's not what I would want to put into a competition. Because I think we need to be our own judge of what we want to show to the world in a competition. I hope that answers no, Bridges, it is my camera. I for some reason I can't seem to switch off the face detection, so it's detecting this face, which is probably just as well because it's over here and it's away from the face here. So Linda's going to change her water. She'll be back the now. Welcome back, Linda. Does anybody have any questions, any thoughts? Does painting along with several other people help you to feel a bit more comfortable about feeling uncomfortable, knowing that other people are feeling uncomfortable, that you know, ultimately it really is just feelings. We are not you know, we're not there's no goal here other than just to paint. I've just added a little bit of extra zing onto the nose just because I happened to have paint on my brush and I wasn't really paying that much attention, and I'm going to add more paint up here as well. Again, I'm just getting rid of the paint up. That's at this stage, sometimes it's just about adding on and just seeing what it looks like. I think what I'd like to do now is I would like to add on some hair. And I've gone darker before, so I'm thinking I might actually go lighter today. So let's see what happens if I go lighter. I'm just playing, I'm just experimenting, because bear in mind that what I'm showing you today, in fact I think I might just give a little bit of a contrast in here with the pink. Oh, maybe a bit too much on my brush. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot, actually. Madonna says, yes, fun painting with others, no judgment zone. Ian says, that is how it's done in college, all in a group painting the one subject so people can see our expression and you can see theirs. Joe says, I'll show you Chrissy later when we speak, then it's going in the bin. And that's perfectly okay, Joe. If you want to put it in the bin, you put it in the bin. That is perfectly okay. I'm maybe going to take out these harsh lines a little bit. I'm thinking what I might do is I might do this. I'm just mark making, just taking out some of those harsh lines a little bit. And then I might just seeing what happens. And this, when we're doing this, this is probably the time to really experiment. This is the time to go, oh, right, okay, so what happens when I do this? So you see, it's just one of those things. Pardon me, excuse me. I can add a little bit of highlight onto the eye if I want. I might decide, well, actually I'm going to do something about this because it's quite harsh. So let's see what colour I can kind of come up with, an experiment with the pink and the brown together. And then go over the whole lot. And see if that makes what actually happens. Because even if you end up with a really awful painting, what you have learnt is what colours go well together, what colours don't go well together, how you can... Oh, that's it, gone again. Be right back. Chrissy says she looks like she's got her hood up, Tanya. Cool. Well, there you go. Okay. Come on. Switch back on. There we go. That's it. Sorry guys, I'll be with you just in a second. There we go. Almost there. We're almost at the end actually. There we go. So any questions? Anything that anybody would like to ask at this moment in time? In fact, do you know, now that Chrissy has mentioned that, I actually like the idea of the fact that it looks like she's got her hood up. So I'm going to go around about the edge with excuse me with as dark a colour as I can get. I may have to put a little bit more out, but that can be easily done. And I'm thinking maybe I might just add that there. There we go. That's looking pretty cool. And I think maybe as well what I might do is I might just get rid of some of that pink in about the mouth. By doing that. There. And just sort of toning down her mouth a little bit. And I might put in a bit darker a colour there, just because that's usually a little bit darker in there as well. And I might just darken this up a little bit more, just to show that it really is that her eyes are actually in her head rather than just sitting on top of her head. So how are you guys doing? Laura says, I think I will stick to paper craft. Faces are not my thing. Well, to be fair, Laura, I commend you for giving this a go, because this is something that, you know, I'm not showing you how to draw or paint a face today. What I'm doing is showing you how to feel okay with being out of your comfort zone. Now, it's not going to, you know, this isn't going to make you feel better just suddenly in one sitting. This is going to require you to do this more than once. So if you have successfully done it today, fantastic. Well done and congratulations. But as a qualified professional, I can tell you that it's going to take more than one session for you to be completely okay with feeling out of your comfort zone. But I hope that this session has, at least in some way, shape or form, helped to inform you that, you know, sometimes your feelings and your emotions can you know, deceive you, is essentially what I'm trying to say. So Linda says, I'm okay with mine since I put the eyes and hair in. So okay, Kylie, sorry. Thank you so much for coming and giving me some support. Very much appreciated. This is essentially it. I think what might be helpful now is take another photo. Even if you're binning it. So Joe, if you're binning it, take a photo just now. You don't have to show anybody, but kind of keep hold of it from the point of view that potentially you might want to sort of look at it from the point of view, well, what worked well, what didn't work well. Nobody needs to see it. Another highlighted area could potentially be this part here, depending on where the light's coming from, because it's probably going to be darker just in this cheeky area here, but sometimes there is going to be a little bit of light just on that part of the mouth, depending on where the light's coming from. I may as well, I might think about just adding a bit more of a highlight there, again depending on where the light is coming from. And if it's that harsher light, then it's likely to I don't know what I'm saying now. It's likely to kind of catch on her cheek. So, and just to kind of tie it in with forehead, I've just added the bit pink rather than the blue. So we've got different colours going on, and essentially that's not necessarily how I would do a face, but you know, it's essentially just a bit of experimentation and fun, and looking at what is going to look fun and good for you today. I think looking at the camera, I have to say, I think that looks pretty okay. I think it might be worth, now let me, oh, wrong way. Let me zoom in for you. There. That will help you see the brush strokes. So, you know, if you're kind of comparing, oh, wrong way. There, if you're comparing yours to mine, look, you can see the brush strokes. You can see just how, that's as far in as it'll go. You can see how messy that is. Oh, whoops. So you can see how messy that is. Yeah? When you think about art, think about where you're positioned, right? Let me see if I can, I'll have to move this a little bit so that I can actually get this turned round. Right, here I am. Oh, great. I'm too close. That's not going to work. Okay. Yeah, let me take this out of the way. It's focusing on that now. There we go. There. Right, here I am, right? That's going to focus on me now. Okay, I'm here, right? I need to be taking a step back, so that's my arm stretched out. So I'm here to actually see my face looks like a face. If I'm here, all I'm seeing is all the messy brush strokes. So I urge you, please take a step back. Right, bear with me, because what I'm going to do is I am going to pop you on here for the time being. I'm going to move my DSLR out of the way. Oh, wrong way. I'll switch it off. Sorry if you're hearing the noise. That's it was just me switching the mic to a better position. Oh, sorry. Okay, right. Take that away. I will be with you in just 1 second, as soon as I get my mouse. Right. Hello. Hi guys. I probably should have done this before I actually switched cameras out, but never mind. Sorry. It is what it is. There. Hello. Right, this is the face from a distance. Okay. This is really how you should be thinking about looking at your art. Looking at it from a distance. if I bring it up to, whoops, the camera, let me see, is that working? Yeah. Can you see all the brush strokes and the, you know, the lines and all sorts? But bring it back and look at the difference it makes. Let me just pop this here. So can you see what I mean about I'm trying to get this so that I can see the okay, right, that's better. Trying to see myself in the real time rather than the delayed time, because then that just confuses me, but still be able to see the comments at the same time. So I've sussed it, I've got it, and I've now got, let me make sure that I've got all the chat ones, there we go. I've sussed it. I can now see myself in real time and see the comments at the same time. Oh no, Mona, you're not supposed. No. No one sucks. No one sucks. Stop that. Stop it. Stop. Tut. No one sucks at this. No one. Not even the person whose face doesn't look like a face. Because today's session is about allowing yourself permission to simply put paint onto paper. Nobody can suck at that. Nobody. Not you, not I, nobody. Nobody sucks at putting paint onto paper. The more we allow ourselves to put paint onto paper, the more we learn about the paint, the more we learn about how it works, the more we learn about the way it interacts, the way it changes the colours, the way that it changes the shadows, the way that it can mould something to look like it comes out of so that it comes out of the paper. Today was not about getting it right. Today was about participating, and every single one of you participated, and I am so very, very grateful that you did, because I know that Mona, I know reasonably well. I've been friends with Mona for a number of years now, and I know, Mona, that you, and I'm not picking on you, I promise, but I know that you feel uncomfortable doing this kind of thing. So the very fact that you have joined in and done it to the end tells me that you are moving forward, because there are some people who are potentially not even able to do that, and so I really, really love that you did, and I'm so grateful for you being here, and I really do hope that it's given people food for thought, you know, that we've actually stopped and thought about what we're actually feeling at the time. What are we feeling? You know, when we're at that, oh my goodness, I can't put any more paint on the paper. What are we feeling? What are we thinking about? You know, is our heart racing? If our heart is racing and we're feeling really uber anxious, then maybe simply just going away from the painting, do some breathing. So, you know, taking in some deep breaths, letting it out. Maybe we need to tell ourselves, I'm okay. This is a feeling, it will pass. I'm okay. And then going back to the painting. So, you know, these are the things that I was hoping for you to kind of identify today. If your painting didn't come out how you wanted it to come out, that's fine. You know, if we need to bin it, there's no, you don't have to share it anywhere. There's no compulsion for you to share it anywhere. It really was about proving to you that you can survive and push past the uncomfortable feelings. And I hope for some of you that that's what's happened, that you're starting to think, well, hang on a second, maybe I can push past this. Any questions? Right, Michael has had fun. Fantastic. I'm so glad, Michael Ann. Brilliant. So, oh, Mona, you're meaning yours looks like a face. Brilliant. That is excellent. Well done. And Joe says, yes, mine looks like a face too, but with no soul. That's also equally okay, Joe. It is the fact that you have gone to the end. Oh, sorry. The fact that you've gone to the end of this session with me, I applaud and I'm very grateful for your trust in me and in your trust in the process. So that is also awesome. So Denise has posted something. I've not quite caught up with what's actually going on. Linda has said that she's learned a lot. I am a sock folder. However, I will do this again because I liked the loose feeling after I got going. Brilliant, Linda. Excellent. That's very well done. It was hard at first, but I appreciate you for getting us to do this. I am so grateful. I love the fact that you have pushed past and found your own sense of, I'm actually kind of enjoying this. Laura says, I'm not going to give up, so I will defo try again. Brilliant, Laura. We can do another session. In fact, for all my Creative Tartanite tribe who are in this live today, would you like to do this in Facebook, in the group? Would you like me to do this a little bit more privately? We can do this again. The other question I have is to my Tartanite tribe, if you're in my Facebook group, would you like me to organise, say, a Google Hangout where we can all have our camera pointed at our canvas and we can each of us do our painting together? Now, obviously, the group would have to be small enough and comfortable enough to actually see everybody else's painting. If you don't want to show your painting, that's fine. You can still join the stream and have your camera switched off, but we would have to have a general consensus with everybody that that's okay. So there's a thought. Is this something... oh, so Michael Ann is still painting. Good on you, Michael Ann. Linda says, I'd love to do it again. Michael Ann is saying, yes, please, yes, please, yes, please. That would be cool. Right, so the yes, please, is that to another live session in the Facebook group, or is that yes to a possibility of a Google Hangout? Joe says, don't have a camera. That's fair enough, Joe. If you don't have a camera, I'm not sure how you would join a Google Hangout if that's the case. I personally don't have an issue with people who want to join the to watch the Google Hangout but don't necessarily want to be seen. But again, that would be a kind of a... So maybe we need to do both. I suspect that you probably wouldn't be able to join a Google Hangout if you don't have a camera. So maybe we need to do both. And I think that seems to be the general consensus. It sounds like people are thinking that perhaps doing both would be a good idea. And I'm more than happy to do both. So yeah, I think, so I was just moving me up a little bit, sneaking myself up a bit. I'm quite happy to do both if that, it's just the art. I'm only expecting people to show the art. And just because the reason I'm asking if that would be okay is because obviously I've heard a lot of people saying that's rubbish, this is not good, but I'm wondering if how much of that is your anxieties talking. So I'm wondering if maybe if we were in a small group of people who are in a Google Hangout, that we can all see each other's paintings, that we can offer some support and, you know, help us to improve our confidence in ourselves. I'm not one for you know, completely taking people's ability to have their own trust in themselves away, but I do believe that sometimes we need to help each other to build up our own trust in ourselves, so that we do not have to have external approval. So maybe us developing our own little small group where we can have a Google Hangout, that we can all see our art, and then we can do that. So we can do both. We can look at doing smaller groups so we feel more comfortable and be able to help each other to actually increase our how we feel about ourselves, because I think for me, as you know, as a qualified person, shall we say, I think one of the things that isn't really taught when the Art Sherpa is one person who does have an element of it within her teachings, and that is awesome. I love that, the fact that Cinnamon has thank you, Denise. I'm glad that you appreciated this tutorial, learning how to paint more loosely. Obviously I took it to the extreme today, where the painting really did look absolutely you know, a big black blob at one point, I think, so, you know, I appreciate that you've come on and enjoyed this tutorial. So is this making sense to people? I think that when we learn art, what we then don't learn is how to be okay with our feelings and our thoughts surrounding it. And they can be our biggest barrier to us learning and moving forward. Oh, thank you, Joe. I look forward to seeing that. In fact, is it okay if I look just now? I won't show it. I won't show it on screen. But is it okay if I have a look just now? Because at the end of the day, I think that the biggest barrier to artists being artists is themselves. Linda said she had to go and get some tea. So yeah, is that making sense to people? So the Bridgie says, yes, that is a great message. It's our perceptions that stop people. I don't do art, but this applies to my writing for me too. Yes, it applies to so many things in life, because, you know, I often say to people, and I think because I'm using up so much bandwidth, I'm not getting, I'll have to look later at the message. I think what can happen with anything in life is that we forget that we put meaning onto things. Yes, the dictionary says that a particular word means something, but if you consider this for a moment. The dictionary says that a word means a particular thing, but who said that that word means that particular thing? It was another person, yeah? Over the years, the dictionary has changed. So things that used to mean one thing can mean something completely different now. Then there's the whole fact that the dictionary is always having new urban words put into it, again because the more people use them, the more they become real, if you want, for a better, you know, for want of a better word. And so, you know, who named our feelings? Well, a human being named our feelings. Just because our feelings may have what is perceived to be a negative connotations, that doesn't always necessarily mean that they are a negative feeling that we have to get rid of. And I really truly believe that we need to be learning what our feelings are, and that actually we can control our feelings. And there's lots of different ways to control our feelings. So there's changing our thought process, there is healthy eating, there is breathing techniques, there is a whole range of different things that can help us to control our feelings. Our thoughts fuel our feelings, and our feelings fuel our thoughts. So sometimes they can be kind of opposing things, which, you know, if I was to clap my hands, you're hearing a loud bang. If you think about your feelings, so you've got feelings here, and they're pushing against each other, you're getting this noise in the middle, aren't you? So I think that we really need to be improving ourselves as well as our art skills. I'm sorry if that's a really, really long explanation and a long rant. Is there any questions left? Anything at all about the session today, the paints? Yes, exactly, Laura. Different words can mean different things. Isn't it? Is it not aloha in Hawaii means hello and goodbye? So yeah. Oh, Mona, you've had some birthday greetings. More birthday greetings. Yay, the birthday girl. Woohoo! Yes, there's lots of words with lots of different meanings, and a human being put those meanings to those words. So if you look at it from that point of view, just because somebody says it doesn't make it true. I could tell you that that colour is green. Doesn't make it true. it's a blue colour, but I could tell you that that's green. And that's ultimately it. Dina says, you have a very deep and sensitive person. I love how you reveal your heart to all. Oh, thank you, Dina. Madonna has says, been fantastic, Tanya. We'll definitely try again. Thanks so much for doing this lesson. Haha, yes, like the white dress versus the blue dress. I hated that. It's blue. Yeah, you know. So I hope, yeah, you've obviously learned a lot about my thoughts and my, you know, how I feel about myself, the world, and others within this this lesson. And I think that's probably a good thing moving forward. I'm happy to say that I have reached my 1,000 subscribers goal. And so I'm kind of in celebration. I didn't want to make too big a deal of it because it is Mona's birthday and she's the birthday girl, and so I wanted to honour Mona first and foremost. But I am very excited about the fact that I have now reached my 1,000 subscribers. And so I think moving forward, I think it's very important for people to learn about me as an artist and as a creator, and learn a little bit more about what to expect from me and my channel. And I've just seen, no, it's just shadow. Oh, I thought I'd spilt paint on my top there. So yeah, I think it's important that people kind of understand a little bit more about me, what I can potentially offer to them as an artist and creator, because my lessons are not just about the art process. There is so much more to art than just learning the techniques. And whilst yes, you're going to learn much more about how I apply paint and how I paint particular things, you're also hopefully going to learn a little bit more about yourself and about how you think and how to better harness and if need be, you know, make small adjustments to your thought process if that's what's needed to enable you to be the best version of yourself. No, I don't mind, Chrissy. In fact, I'm very, very grateful because obviously Mona was otherwise occupied. So thank you. I'm very, very grateful for the help that you have given to others. No, I do not mind at all. Happy birthday, Mona, and a big congrats, Tanya. Thank you. Congrats, that's awesome, well deserved. Thank you, Madonna. Tanya, I have a wardrobe full of paint. Yes, I've equally I've got lots of paint on myself over the years. It's mostly on my pyjamas, I have to confess. I would get up first thing in the morning and be so excited about painting that I would come into my studio and paint in my pyjamas and end up getting paint on them. So yeah. Can anybody else relate to that? Thank you, Michael Ann. Thank you. I really don't want to be keeping you for very much longer, so I will give one last opportunity for anybody to ask me anything about anything that I've said, anything about the lesson. Has anybody got any thoughts about what they would like to see next? Those kinds of things. Anything that you particularly want to get off of your chest. And for Mona, are you in a position to be able to put a link to my Facebook group? If you're not, I'll do it. Just bear with me a second. I just want to, if you're not already a subscriber, oh, there we go, it's already done. Thank you, Mona. If you're not already a member of the Creative Tartanite tribe, and you would like to get a little bit more in-depth stuff, if you'd like to be able to actually have a little bit easier access to me, to be able to ask questions, if you want to join in any of the challenges, today is the 1st of March and I'm going to be going into the Facebook group probably just after I've had something to eat maybe, and I'm going to be putting out the invites for March's challenge. I'm very excited about March's challenge. Oh, thank you, Denise. Within, just to let you guys understand, there's quite a significant portion of my YouTube videos are painting videos, whereas my Creative Tartanite tribe is more about an overall creativity. There is still painting and things goes on in the group, so you will still learn a lot about painting and different mediums, etc, etc. However, the challenges and things, they really go a bit wider across the board, so don't be surprised if you see papercraft, sewing, painting, and maybe even some photography challenges across the months to come. But it really is a much more eclectic, more focused on the creativity. Oh, excuse me, I've got the hiccups. Rather than the painting or art. But painting and art is such a huge part of me that you will find it there. So hopefully that kind of clarifies a little bit about why there might be some differences between my YouTube channel and my Facebook group. There are some papercraft and mixed media videos that are available on my YouTube, so you know there are going to be some diverse videos available on my YouTube channel as well moving forward. I really would like to just thank you again for joining me, and I think I've rambled on and kept you long enough, guys. Thank you. It has been such a pleasure, and thank you to the paint along people, everybody who painted along. Mona, Michael Ann, Joe, Linda, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Take care, everybody. And as soon as I can find the going away, I will stop the stream as soon as I can find it. Oh, okay. Right, I have no idea what I'm doing. I've lost the button that says stop streaming. Would you believe it? How is that even possible? How can it actually go? Right, this isn't even funny anymore. I genuinely can't find the stop button. How do I stop it? Yeah, but stopping the OBS only stopping the OBS only stops it, and then it comes up that it's. I still have to find the button. Oh. Right, I'm going to stop the OBS and then I'll find the button, and then at least that way you're not actually having to. to watch me. This is embarrassing. Oh, never mind. Oh, I wonder if it's in here. Live dashboard. Ah, I found it. No, I haven't. Okay, anyway, I'm going to put off the OBS. So bye for now. Take care, everybody.